Do you know that right now, 80% of salons won't make it another 18 months? We'll talk about why and what you need to do about it all on today's show.
Salon owners are some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. The only problem is sometimes their hearts are so big and they give so much of themselves to their staff and guests that it creates unintended consequences. Our goal is to change the industry by elevating the way the rest of the world sees salons, spas, and barbershops and give it the credibility that it truly deserves. This is the Salon Owner Evo Revo Show.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Salon Scale, allowing you to charge by what you know, not by what you feel. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Evo Revo podcast. I'm your host, Jason Everett, and joined today by Mr. Doug Campbell. What is going on, Doug?
How's it going? Good to be here.
Dude, it's a good day. By the way, talking about why salon owners fail, I think there's a lot of things that happen in the salon and spa world that can trip up salon and spa owners. And we see it every single day, the reasons why people fail and what are some of the challenges. And if you've ever been worried about failure in the salon, do me a favor and say I have in the chat, because or just yell at your radio or computer screen or wherever you're watching or listening to this thing from, because I think for so many salons, being worried that one day you might not make it is a really big deal. And why is it that in 18 months, 80% of salons typically fail? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. And I think some of the reasons that go through that is because they run out of money. To be really honest, a lot of salons will run out of money. And by the way, that could be caused by you didn't have enough money to prepare yourself for, heaven forbid, something like a pandemic happened. But there's also things like, well, what if you just don't manage your money? What if you don't manage your finances very well and you're not taking care of you? I know so many salon owners have been stuck where they work really, really hard behind the chair to make it work. And they actually take a hit on their income and they make less than they did at another salon so they can own a salon. And Doug, I think that's crazy.
Yeah, yes, you're going to have to, yes, you're going to have to work hard at the beginning and do a lot of extra things, but you should have a plan for that to be temporary. Right. Because at the beginning, yes, you're going to be the biggest breadwinner. You're going to be, but you need to have a plan for that to phase out as you build a team. And I think the problem is a lot of people don't plan that out correctly, and they don't set up their budgets. How they're going to operate. They don't set that up to achieve that goal. It's just like, I'm working my butt off behind the chair and I'll just keep throwing money at it. And I don't have time to pay attention to exactly the foundation and structure of my business. I'll get to that whenever I'm not behind the chair so much.
Right. But then it never happens. It never comes. Right, just get stuck.
The instinct is, as soon as something goes a little bit sideways, the thing is, I need to work. I just need to work more hours behind the chair. So right. It's like, that's the hardest thing. It's one of the things when people realize is that, when they start to step out and you need a plan, because obviously in the beginning, you really are going to have to be out there. You say, but this is how long I do it. This is the way that so that I can give other people opportunity to grow other people, and that they can be in the best business possible. And I can be the best owner for them possible. Because the problem is that if you're stuck behind the chair, your stress level, because you're worried about the business, you're worried about your clients, you're worried about all these things going on at once. Right. So your stress level's up there, and the people that get the result of that are the people that you work with every day. That's who you're going to be short with, and that's not great.
So let's chat about this. There's a quote that I really love, and I want to read this to you. It says, entrepreneurship, or like starting a business, right? Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Right? And I want to talk about this because, you guys have seen us do high octane adventures and take salon owners on these wild things and stay in like the houses that the Bachelors stayed in, the Real Housewives have stayed in. Like, we've done some incredible things with salon owners, and they've lived an amazing life that is just worthy of celebration for them, for all their hard work that they've achieved. But I think this idea, and if I break down this quote, Doug, is living a few years, I'll say it again, a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. I think that those few years turn into a hell of a lot more than a few years, right? And it doesn't even need to be a few years in some cases. Sometimes it's just, 18 to 24 months, right? Is all of a sudden you're 1 year, 2 years, and then you should very quickly be earning an income off of your salon that starts to pay you besides your behind the chair income, right? And I think that's where people get really caught up in that process.
Yeah, I mean, because there is risk involved, and what you have to understand is that the risk isn't all on you to produce behind the chair. The risk is, can you create a business that produces to make it happen? And when they rely too much on themselves, it makes it tough. And that's the thing. It's like entrepreneurship isn't for everybody.
Right.
There's some people that don't want that risk. They don't want to take that on, and that's fine. Because they're not willing to do, I may have to take a hit on my pay. I may have to take a second mortgage out on my house. I may have to do all these things to get this thing up and going. But then what's my plan for repaying those things? What's my plan for me getting out from behind it? And I think the biggest thing is people get excited about it. They get excited about the idea. And, and in this industry, we make people look beautiful, right? We make anybody look their best. So the idea is when we start a business, we want our business to look its best.
Look the best.
So our focus is on the way that things look. Do we have all the things that make us look like a successful salon without us actually doing things that we need to do to actually be a successful salon? And when you get caught in that first part, that most of my planning was on the way it looked, but not on how it functioned and building a good structure, a good foundation to it. It's like, when we're coaching folks, it's you got to learn to be the architect of your business. And I love Mike McAllowitz's thing about quit stealing jobs from other people. Your thing is to create jobs inside of your business so that other people have an opportunity, so they can have a great life and may become a business partner, shareholder of yours in the future. But if you don't have that plan, it's sad because you see people stuck, for years because they got stuck in, I just have to produce. Someone quits. Well, I just have to get. I can't get.
I'll have to get behind the chair. I know somebody, Doug, yesterday mentioned this, and I want. We've been working on this program kind of behind the scenes, and I want to talk about it for a second. But we work on this new program, is we realize that so many salons fail because they don't understand how to actually run their business and get out of that struggle mode. Right? They still are in that struggle mode. And somebody said to me yesterday, they said, Jason, I don't know how to give up my clients because all of my clients are the high-end people that can't go to anyone else but me. And so I can't get rid of any of my clientele. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. Like, and they're like, what do you mean that's the problem? I'm like, the problem is you think you're the best person in your entire salon. Like you think you're the only person who can do amazing hair. And everybody else is a bunch of, she didn't say this. I'm not saying this about her, but like, this is the idea, is that everybody else is a bunch of idiots. Right? They're all a bunch of idiots and nobody's as good as me. Nobody can do it better than me. I'm the best one here. And when you rise to be able to work with me and you're willing to be here, then I'm the only one. And I was like, look, you got to find what people's specialties are inside the salon and make them specialties at a certain service or specialties at a whatever, and start peeling off some of your big accounts and building up the people around you. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck at the top.
Right. Your job is to be training those other people to be better than you.
Right.
Your
at all times.
You should be creating people that are better than you. You should be passing along knowledge that makes them better, so your clients are more than happy to go off to those people. Then things. I don't have time to do that. That's why we need a plan.
By the way, it sounded like you had a tambourine under the desk and you shook it. I know that's your dog.
Yes, it is.
That's all I'm saying. It literally sounded like you had a tambourine. But I just want to clarify. People are like, what is Doug doing over there?
I don't have my musical tambourine thing going. He just shook. Anyway. It is true, though. It did sound like that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
But that's the thing, is that I don't have the time to train people. And it's like, okay, that's what we're saying. Get a plan in place so that you're carving out the time. And yes, this first couple of years, you may have to bust your butt, but not just behind the chair. You need to bust your butt training people. You need
stop trying to bust your butt that way. Yeah.
Right. So that then your clients are more than happy to go to these other people.
Right.
And then
they're incredible.
They're like, oh, I'm super happy. And you got to let your ego,
check yourself.
Let your ego rest into you being successful.
Well said.
The ego will grab a hold of them and go, But I like that them telling me that I'm amazing. No one's ever done that. They would never leave. They'd walk across broken glass for me to do their hair.
Right,
You know,
right.
and then for them to say that Caroline is doing it as good as I did,
Better than what I did. Oh,
they love
heaven forbid.
Caroline
Right.
now. Now they're walking across broken glass for Caroline. It's like,
Right.
that should be amazing, great,
Right,
fantastic.
right.
But
That's the goal. That's the goal.
is people not having a good plan. It's people not having a solid plan for what does that look like. You know, so how am I creating the budget for that? So to your point, you're running out of capital. Make sure before I go into this, I got enough capital that I can hire. It's going to cost you some money to train some people. So you need to figure out what that is. But on the flip side is, to your point earlier about, you know, do 2 years, do what most people aren't willing to do so you can live like most people can't. That is true, because most people are not going to do that. But you've got to make sure that you're going towards that reward and not just hoping that one day it's going to show up. You know, FedEx is going to drop it off at the door and go, congratulations, your business is now operating and you don't have
your
to show up
salon's good.
And,
and by the way, we've been on this hit because Doug and I over the last couple of weeks have been developing this program kind of behind the scenes. It's called Salon Industry Icon. And the Industry Icon program is about how do you actually get a salon to be successful, have the money that you need, have the budget that you need so that you can actually say, when do I need to add either your first front desk person, another front desk person? When can I bring on a new associate? Like we're like, okay, what if we had a formula we could show people literally when to do certain steps inside their business, when they should actually make the leap into adding in new team, when should they bring in another product line, when, like, making decisions to say, is it time for me to move to a bigger location, or should I shrink something, or should I add another station, or what should I do? Well, your budget should be the decision on that, not what makes me look really good. And so if any of you guys want information on this program, all you have to do is type the word icon in the chat, and we'll be talking about it throughout the show today and telling you more about it. But if you guys want information on it, type in the word icon. And of course, for all High Performance Salon Academy members that are already in our academy, you guys get it for free, so don't worry about it. You guys are all going to get that. But we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And after this short break, we're going to talk more about what you can do to make sure that your salon makes it for not just the next 18 months, but for the next years and years to come, because you have a better control of your finances, all when we come back.
Hey, HPSA listeners, let me ask you this. Are you tired of not knowing what your hair color is costing you on every appointment and watching it chew up your profit? Well, with Salon Scale, we take the guesswork out for you. Using a mobile app paired with a Bluetooth scale, Salon Scale will tell you exactly what your color is costing you on every bowl mix down to the gram. As you mix, Salon Scale will also digitally store your formulas and track how much product is being used in real time, so you can manage your inventory, cover your expenses, and generate more profit in your salon. Use promo code HPSA10 to get 10% off an annual subscription. Salon Scale, the new standard for mixing color.
Welcome back. So here's the thing. We were chatting about what are the things that can keep salon owners from succeeding. And I think one of the things that happens in the kind of like 18-month window is just like what happened. You don't have any savings. You've got no income to speak of. You've got issues. And like right now, a lot of salons are coming out of one of the worst times they've ever experienced in their business. And so if they had budget, they could know what could be cut, what needed to stay, and what needed to go. They can decide who are the people that they need to have on their staff, and if they can afford to bring new people on. Doug, you've been saying in the industry right now, finding clients is not necessarily the issue at the moment. Finding talent has been the issue. And I think that's another big reason why people fail is they and we're talking about this in the Icon program that we were mentioning before the break, is that one of the things that happens is that if you can't find top talent to come in and work with you, and you don't know when to bring them on, when the most effective time to bring them on is, or you bring on top talent and you train them well enough that they can leave and go do their own thing, that's a huge problem too.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to get clear on what your process, like knowing when and how and what can I afford to pay for front desk, what can I afford to pay to bring people on to train. It's like, so can I bring on 5 associates right now to get them trained up? That's where people start to run into the problems, because they don't know. That's what I love about our tool, Genesis Budget. You play this super simple little calculator that you punch in your numbers, and you can see when at the bottom the amount of money that you need for that falls out the bottom. So now you know when we get to this level of sales, I can afford that front desk person. I can afford to bring on a few people. Or you say I can take a hit on my profit, which hopefully you built your business from the beginning to have a profit. Biggest thing people forget is like they just run it and they hope for a profit, or it's like, maybe there's something left over instead of planning on a profit. And in Genesis budget, I mean, you actually block out your profit. We pull that out first, then everything else operates. Because if you're not, one of the biggest reasons that they fail, the 18 months to 2 years is because the owner is just burnt out. They're disillusioned. They've been working 80 hours a week. And there's just nothing that they're just like, I'm done. I don't see a way out of this. I don't know. It's not the dream that I thought I was going to have. And I don't see a way out. So I'm done. And that's just sad and it's because it just wasn't set up correctly. And that's,
and I think to the point, Doug, you got to know what you should be charging. You've got to know what you're allowed to pay out. Like, how much can you pay your staff? Because I think one of the big mistakes that a lot of people do is they overpay staff in the beginning to try and get better staff. And then they run out of runway. It's like, they've paid all this money for that staff and then they've got nowhere to grow them to. And then they're like, well, the only way I can make more money is if I leave and go do this on my own. Right. And so you get into this game that they think that they're going to win. And you've got to know, again, to your point, what type of budget do you need to have for your building? What type of budget do you need to have for your staff? How do you attract the right people to your salon over and over again? And that all has to depend on the budget. I mean, Doug, you created your title, 100% Genesis budget. What is the genesis of everything? It starts with your budget. And there are so many salon owners, because I know this, is that you've got the creative salon owner and you've also got the financially driven salon owner. Sometimes they get married and have a really good salon baby together, right? Sometimes that happens. But often, more than not, is there's a creative person who runs the business and they go, numbers are just not my jam. It's not my thing. I don't get excited about it. And then they end up running a business into the ground because they have a business that looks successful on the outside, meaning they maybe even have won awards. They maybe, they've got very fancy exterior and a fancy sign and a beautiful website. But at the end of the day, they're still not making any money. And by being able to go through that Icon program we talked about, we're going to help you get control of your budget. So if you want more information on the Icon program, and again, it's only a 4-week program where you can go through it at your own pace. You get exactly what you want out of it. If you want to do it faster, you can. We have the first ever version of it coming up in just a couple weeks. So if you want access to Icon, do me a favor, type Icon in, or you can send me a direct message and just say Icon and I'll get you guys the information. I want to take this question because it came in. Did you see this question that came in?
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about this because I think this is interesting. And I'm not sure how to say your name, so I apologize if I get this wrong. Eleni, I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, but you tell me how to say it. I'll say it later. You said, do you physically walk into salons or is this all through Zoom? I already am seeing the complaint getting set up here. Do you look at the books and numbers? Because I spent $7,000 for a 12-week course and it did nothing except push me to raise my prices 30 to 50% higher. So, hey, I just want to say that sucks. Obviously, that was not our course because I don't have a $7,000 12-week course that we do. So look, I think one of the things that can happen inside a lot of other coaching companies, they push you to push your prices up because a lot of times maybe you haven't raised them. It's an easy way for you to make more money. But there's also kind of a couple things I want to break down in there. Because you said, do you physically walk into salons? I'm going to answer each of these questions at a time. Do you physically walk into salons? Doug, what's the answer to that question?
I walk into some salons. I do not walk into salons that we work with. No.
Yeah, you walk into your salon
because it doesn't make sense. It would cost so much money and time to you have to pay for a plane ticket, hotel room, all that stuff that's not helping you move your business forward. So leveraging technology, but I think go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so number one, I want to answer your question. No, we don't physically walk into salons, but the next question you asked, do we look at the books and the numbers? The answer to that is yes. We do look at your books, we do look at your numbers, and we help you guide you as a salon. Now, I think there's a big difference between a coach and a consultant, and I want to give you this bit of information, is that a consultant comes in and looks at your books, looks at your numbers, and just tells you what to do. And they say, do this next or do this next. And that can create some very good things for you. But the way Doug and I operate that I think would be very helpful for you to know is that we work with you as a coach to make you a better salon owner. So we'll teach you how to look at your books and how to look at your numbers. We'll get on the phone with you through Zoom. But the biggest thing you should know about High Performance Salon Academy is that we are a community of hundreds of salon owners from all over the country. We actually put you in with other salon owners to share ideas, best practices, and give you some really good framework of how you can operate as a business owner that'll put you in a good place and actually get you moving forward. And so, look, I would just say, no matter what you do with us, if you ever did a small program or a big program, whatever it is, our goal is to help make a massive difference in your performance. And people join our program get between a 20 to 30% increase in their overall results. That's increased their overall amount of income that they make from their salon, 20 to 30% bump in that, their overall gross revenue, their growth of their salon. So anyway, I hope that helps for you. And I don't know, again, how to say your name exactly, but I hope that was a good answer to your question. If it was, do me a favor and say helpful in the chat, because I'll make sure I get you some information. And I'll send you some other details if you want to.
One thing on that too, I want to say, it's like, there's no program that you're ever going to buy that's a silver bullet that's going to fix everything about your salon. So it's like with our icon thing, you're gonna have tools. We're gonna look at things. You're gonna have resources that you can use to help you do it. We're gonna coach you along the way. But the idea is that you say, wow, I really like the way that y'all approach this, and you want to work with us long term. That's what we want to do. That's what this group of people that we put together, that we do a lot of cool things with, and we have a lot of fun. Because if you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be doing this. But it's about taking that journey with somebody. And a lot of people spend a lot of money on different programs, hoping that something's going to be the silver bullet, the one thing. And I'm just here to tell you, I don't care what company you're working with, there's not a silver bullet, but there is a process that can help you. And there is some principles and fundamentals of the way things are done and the environment that you put yourself in that can make a massive difference in your business. So I mean, will you get a lot out of Icon? Yes. But if that's the only journey you only take with us, then you're gonna be like, well, that was good and that solved one problem, but then I've got these other things. And that's what we're here for, the journey. We want to earn your business and work with you long term. And because our goal is to change the way the world sees this, the salon and spa industry. And we can't do that with just trying to give you something that's supposed to be a silver bullet. So
So I would say if you want to check out one of our programs, let us know, or I'll send you a message. You can chat about that. But I would just say this is that as we work with people all over the country, all over North America, the goal is to really help ensure that you get the growth that you want. Because my goal is to help you see how great you can really become, and that's exactly what we do. Is we help you to move forward in the right direction, get you going, and get you moving. I saw that she said, and again, I don't know if you say Eleni or Eleni, however you say it. She said, I'm looking for the Tony Robbins of the salon business. I love that. I will tell you, I love Tony Robbins. You just met him.
His name's Jason Everett. You just met him, so come hang out with him.
I can teach you to walk on fire, break boards, and do everything else that you want to know about that. I can get you all that. I've been doing a lot of Tony Robbins stuff. I love Tony. There's some things I love about Tony. There's some things I do differently than Tony because that's how I operate. But that's super fun. And I would just say for you, man, just like any salon, right? I want to kind of land this plane here, is that for any salon owner, one of the things that's the most important thing in my mind that you can do is just have, as Tony Robbins says, constant, never-ending improvement. You have to get better over time and ratchet up. Doug and I, we track all of the salons in our program's numbers, and we were looking at like over time, what's happening. We used to have, for those guys who are familiar, like RTS, retail to sales dollars, it used to be said that 15% RTS was a really big deal in the industry. And we have people who are in our program who are at, Cindy said Jason is a Tony Robbins. Thanks, Cindy. Cindy is a homie of ours. So yeah, Cindy's been around for a long time. But anyway, the idea is a RTS 15% used to be a big deal. But then all of a sudden we were getting people at 20%, 25%, 30%, 40%. And now most of our salons in our program are running at 25 and 30% RTS. Their profitabilities are insane and they're all moving forward. But that's because the group moves. So anyway, I think there's so much opportunity for people who get involved with the group of people who change their lives, change how they operate, and move forward in a good direction. So anyway, I hope that's helpful for you. I hope you learned a little bit about why salons fail. It's usually because of their budgeting and all those other things that prevent them from growing in the way in which they should. And if you want more information on our Icon program, do me a favor and comment with the word Icon. We'll get you started on your budget. We'll get you started on a future that will include you having more money than you've had before. So thank you guys so much for being on today. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of it, right? Party like a rock star. Check out some of the other stuff that we do. Thanks, guys, for being on today. We'll see you on another podcast.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Evo Revo podcast.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Salon Scale, allowing you to charge by what you know, not by what you feel.
Please subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always get more information, including show notes and the video episodes at evorevopodcast.com.